Hi everyone, welcome to Franca's Fab Family. I am Franca, and on this video I am going to give you some quick tips on how to teach your children, no matter what the age, once they're off of milk, to eat fruits and vegetables, and lots of it, and a lot of varieties of it as well. Okay, here we go. The first tip that I'm going to give you is one that I learned when I had my first son. I read like almost every baby book in how to move them from breast milk to solid foods that you can think of. And one thing that stuck out with me, and I did practice and it did work, was introduce your children to vegetables before fruits when you get them off of, when they start going on to solid foods. The reason why: fruits have a higher level of natural sugar contents. It's sweeter. A banana, a papaya, a mango is a whole lot sweeter than a carrot, Irish potato, some plantain. We eat that in the Caribbean a lot. So introduce them to vegetables first, and then introduce them to the vegetables that are not so sweet. Some vegetables have also a higher sugar content, like a carrot would be sweeter than a plain Irish potato, and you never ever add sugars or sweeteners or any of that stuff in it. So the first tip is introduce fruits and vegetables as early as you can into your children's diet, into their palates. But it's very, very important that you start them out with vegetables. Tip number 2, you must introduce new items regularly, and you must have them regularly in your meals. You know, like you can't give them an asparagus, for example, like once a year. That's not going to work. It's something that they should always see as part of the family's diet. It should always come into the house, so that way you're not just saying eat your vegetables. It's not only eat your vegetables, eat your fruits, but it becomes part of the daily living in the house. So they have to see the item regularly. For me, every time I go grocery shopping, as you can see, I just did a round of grocery shopping. New fruits and vegetables will come into the house, and I'm gonna cook with every single thing here. So my children are used to seeing Brussels sprouts, broccoli, even mushrooms, flavors that normally a 6-year-old, a 3-year-old would not typically eat, but it has always been part of their life. So it's not new to them. It's actually quite regular. So they are more likely to eat an item if they see it often. Tip number 3, make it look and taste very good. Remember that when we go out to dinner, if you brought us something that looked like just a brown gravy on the plate and told us that was like creamy garlic mashed potatoes, they would be like, you wouldn't eat it. So children are the same way. I have actually fooled, especially my eldest one. He loves going out just because more so he loves the whole atmosphere of a restaurant. So I present all of our meals to look like my version of restaurant quality. It's always very colorful. It's always very beautiful. So it makes them like, ooh, I want to try that. I want to taste that. And then I would cook in a variety of ways. I just wouldn't boil my vegetables with or without salt. Sometimes I would bake it. I would saute it. I would grill it. And then sometimes there were some vegetables that were a little bit more challenging. So I would put cheese in it. You know, cheese is another good source of dairy and protein. So sometimes I will put cheese in it. But it's very important you don't lather your vegetables with like sugar, lots of butter, very high fat or sugar properties, because you want them to also eat it in their natural form. So sometimes I will do a sweet glazed carrots. But then sometimes on the dinner table, you would just have raw carrot sticks. So the children are always tasting these fruits and vegetables in different forms. And again, they're more likely to eat it, because when my children started eating broccoli, they really only liked the cheesy broccoli. And some days I would say, we don't have any cheese. Like, we don't have any cheese this time. So what happens is that they are already used to the flavor of broccoli. So that wasn't the way I started them off with the broccoli. That's the way that I ended up showing them that no matter how many different vegetables cooked different ways, they would also like it. And make it look good. Really, really make it look good. Sometimes I used to cut my peppers out or my mango slices out, and I would cut it out into a heart. Or you can use the cookie cutters. You can make stars and stuff like that. Everyone who knows green plantains, when you're doing fried green plantains, it has the consistency of like a potato when you cut it. you can take a star or a heart cookie cutter and cut the shape out of it. So when you fry it, you know, for them, it has a character to it, because children love that as well. So tip number 3 is make it taste good in a variety of different ways, as well as make it look good. And tip number 4, this one here goes for the carnivores like my house. We eat meat, and but I've done it several times. You can take one day out of the week, or you can take, let's say, 2 or 3 days out of the month, and you cook only a vegetable meal. There will be no meat in it. So this is a great time to incorporate new vegetables that your kids might not have tried yet, or their favorite. Like if they like, I don't know, breaded and fried asparagus, you can try that, or plantain, or eggplants. You can make a curry out of eggplants. You can make like so many wonderful sauces out of the different vegetables. An Indian friend of mine taught me how to make okra. It's coconut okra with like toasted almonds at the end. I could not believe it. I've never even heard of it, but it was a new dish because her family, they're vegetarians. But when we go there, I learned so many ways to cook the vegetables that I naturally love in new ways. So just have a straight vegetable meal. A vegetable meal, no meat in it. That's another way. That's tip number 4 on how to get your children to at least try and eat more vegetables. Tip number 5, have your children cook with you. If you really have the children cook with you, I've done this 4 different times, and you have them cook with you. You could be cooking slimy okra to fish with eyes. They will try it. They honestly will try it. If you let them put the salt in it, the pepper in it, if you let them put it in the pot, if you let them help cut it up and put it in the bowl, whatever task that they have in it, and you know, of course, you praise them as they're going along, but they're involved in the cooking process, they will eat it. They will eat it. My kids are living proof that when we go out to a restaurant, my 14-year-old son will sometimes order a salad, and you know, and people have come up to us like, he's having a salad, and I'm like, he likes salad, and if it's a salad with a steak on top, even better. Well, these are my 5 tips on how I got my children to eat all their fruits and vegetables. I have 4 children, and the eldest is 14, my middle is 9, and the twins are 6-year-old, and they all, from the time they were eating solid foods, eating vegetables, and then eating fruits. If you follow these 5 tips with patience, effort, and consistency, I guarantee you that your children would eat vegetables. They would eat as many as you want them to eat, and they will be open to trying new fruits and vegetables, things that they may have never heard of. I hope you enjoyed my 5 tips, and if you have a creative way on how you get your children to eat their fruits and vegetables, I would be happy to read about them. So leave us a question or a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe and watch many of our other videos. We have lots of other things coming on board. I'm Franca, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Bye-bye.